The Simpsons Live Action Horror, sorta, the 22nd Annual Hearse Fest, and the official I Like It Spooky Horror Podcast expanded content announcement, all on this Friday edition of Spill the Guts.
I like it spooky.
Hello and welcome. My name is Clint, and I am one half of the I Like It Spooky Horror Podcast. Well, sort of. Stay tuned to the end of this Horror News Blitz roundup to find out what the next feature episode of the show that releases this Sunday contains, and what the hell it is I'm talking about. Before the announcements, however, we should cover some news, because this is Spill the Guts. Today is Friday, September 15th, and this just in. First story of the day comes from ScreenRant.com, who has decided to wreck our childhood with some disturbing imagery that you will have to see for yourself. With The Simpsons Season 35 trailer having recently dropped, a recent Reddit post by Primo Colon puts the TV staple in a creepy context, imagining what the main family would look like in their own horror movies. The Simpsons reimagined as a horror movie has a killer cast, but is absolute nightmare fuel. Even though the long-running Fox comedy rightly built its reputation on being transgressive and waving away many of the television rules of the time, The Simpsons remains fundamentally a story about a loving family, no matter how dysfunctional. That's why it remains somewhat jarring to see the beloved main characters and their many supporting cohorts in a more sinister context. It's part of why the show's annual Treehouse of Terror works so well. The art shows Homer Simpson covered in blood as he's possibly just finished committing a crime. He's played by Step Brothers and Winning Time star John C. Reilly. Hereditary's Toni Collette is Marge, though her home looks far from inviting. Bart Simpson is played by Jack Dylan Grazer from Shazam and It, and he's surrounded by aliens. Last Night in Soho's Thomasin McKenzie is a zombified Lisa. Other cast members include Stranger Things' David Harbour as Chief Wiggum, The Black Phone's Ethan Hawke as Krusty the Clown, and Patrick Stewart as Mr. Burns, among others. I will share a link to this Screen Rant article, which, in addition to viewable stills of the above-mentioned disturbing imagery, also includes a violent Simpsons claymation short that definitely won't be airing on primetime, on the I Like It Spooky Horror Podcast Facebook page. Trust me, you have to see all of this for yourself. Second story of the day is about the 22nd Annual Hearse Fest, brought to you by Just Hearsin' Around and Dead Sled Brand, that will be happening tomorrow, Saturday, September 16th, at the Fowlerville Fairgrounds, which is located at 8800 West Grand River Ave in Fowlerville, Michigan. Now, I could drone on about the details, but instead, let's roll their commercial that was included in the last feature episode of the I Like It Spooky Horror Podcast, where we interviewed Dawn of the Dead zombie, Jim Krupp. Just Hearsin' Around and Dead Sled Brand are coming together yet again and inviting you to the 22nd annual celebration, Hearse Fest, Saturday, September 16th at the Fowlerville Fairgrounds. All ages are welcome to the festivities that kick off at 10 a.m. at 8800 West Grand River Ave in Fowlerville, Michigan. Just $2 gets you in the gate. Kids 16 and younger, as well as participating hearse drivers and passengers, are free. A field of hearses of all years and styles will be on hand, as well as vendors, food trucks, and more. For more info, visit justhearsin'around.com or hearsefest.com. And it is now that time where we pause for station identification to hear from our podcast network, the PFPN.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal: providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.
Last story of the day is the moment you have all been waiting for.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
The time has come to announce what I have been teasing on the last few episodes of Spill the Guts about the I Like It Spooky Horror podcast, bringing you even more regular content on top of our bi-weekly feature shows, monthly free streaming movie app rundowns, and tri-weekly Horror News Blitz roundups. Ladies and gentlemen, boils and ghouls, I am proud and excited to announce that the I Like It Spooky Horror podcast has partnered up with Leah Stalker of Pure Macabre. Pure Macabre is a social media platform, predominantly on Instagram, that specializes in being a harbinger, helping to bring awareness to all things spooky in the state of Michigan. Leah will be stalking events great and small and reporting them here directly to the Spookyverse of the I Like It Spooky Horror podcast every other Saturday with our new subcast, Mishmash. Tune in tomorrow, Saturday, September 16th, for the inaugural episode, as Leah warms us all up to the start of spooky season.
I'm so glad that you're here.
And that is a wrap on your Friday news. Don't forget that you can connect with the I Like It Spooky Horror podcast on all mainstream social media platforms and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss a thing, including the first episode of Mishmash tomorrow and the new feature episode that releases this coming Sunday, where we discuss, thanks to our fans, listeners, and the Mutant fam, the winner of our Part 3 choice, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Dream Warriors. After you get caught up with all of that, make sure to join me back here this coming Monday for more news on another edition of Spill the Guts.
Hey, what's wrong with you, man? Show some fucking respect for the dead, will ya?